Hello there. Now we have two massive breaking news stories for you tonight, and this first one really raised an eyebrow. Two men have been arrested on explosives offences in Derby, and 200 homes have been evacuated, with residents being warned to expect to be unable to go home for 24 hours, and we're still awaiting a police update. In fact, a controlled explosion has already been carried out, as far as I've been told. But don't you worry, there's nothing to be concerned about, because it's not being treated as a terrorist incident, and therefore there's no wider threat to the community. So no speculation out there about what type of escapade these two men aged 40 and 50 might have been up to. But people have been warned to expect that loud bang, as I said, and I think that's already has already taken place. Now, the police might want people not to talk about this event, but the imagination does go a bit haywire, doesn't it? And many people on X are already pointing to the demographics of the area. Nuff said. What a strange incident, Richard.
Absolutely. But it's all normal, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you've got families who are right now probably standing in the rain, trying to pretend it's all normal. All normal, it's fine. Pets, and all that, like the medication and, everything's been put into carrier bags and arms heading to somewhere safe. Safe? Oh, okay. As they watch their, they're just looking at their street right now. The people, the residents of that area getting sort of decorated for Christmas with police tape. Yes, it's all very normal. You've got basically 200 people standing around in the rain saying, "Oh, isn't this lovely, dear? Oh, isn't this wonderful? It's typical Christmas. Normal behaviour, nothing to worry about." The thing is, it's not normal though, is it, ladies and gentlemen? This is being treated as not a terrorist incident, or we're told it's been treated as a not terrorist incident. But of course, you don't have, you never have explosions and things like that at terrorist incidents, and people don't get arrested. No. Well, we don't know. Obviously, we don't know whether it's a terrorist incident, but we're being told. But the problem here, this is the problem, you see. We've been told in the past that things weren't terrorist incidents. And guess what? Guess what it turned out to be. So excuse a little bit of skepticism. It's just, yeah. Jeff.
I will point out that according to the BBC, which I'm just reading now, both arrested men are Polish nationals. The two men who have been arrested on suspicion of explosives offences are Polish nationals, Derbyshire Police has said.
Well.
And a police spokesperson told the BBC it released this information in line with national guidance around forces being encouraged to disclose the ethnicity and nationality of suspects to combat misinformation. So there you have it. They're Polish. Well, that does come as a bit of a surprise and a bit left field to me. I don't know about you, Richard.
No, not at all, actually, because, at the end of the day, they could be far-right Polish, couldn't they, of course? And we'll get onto the far-right in a minute. But, again, we've been told all this is normal, but there's nothing like, a controlled explosion, before bedtime to steady the nerves. That's the way I look at it. And, you stood outside, with your bag and your dog, and you're thinking, oh, good grief, it's not terrorism, so it's a good job none of this is frightening. That's the way it's looking. People are going to be missing work tomorrow and stuff, and maybe people with night shifts ahead, they've had to reschedule everything. This is incredibly disruptive, I'll have you know, Jeff. And people will be like wondering, well, what the hell is going on? The kids will be terrified, and but these are all like words, these are word games at the end of the day. But if this isn't terror, people aren't terrified by controlled explosions and evacuations, then I don't know what terror is actually. Very strange, though, Jeff. Yeah. But as for being them being Polish, to be honest with you, I had a funny feeling this wasn't going to be from that special demographic, the preferred demographic in this country. And I'm wondering if it's tied to what you're about to mention now, Jeff.
Oh, what am I about to mention now? The other breaking news is that 4 people have been arrested in Eastbourne and Brighton for far-right terror offences. So the old bill has been busy today, hasn't it? And before I say anything else, terrorism must be condemned from whatever religious or political background it emanates. So I'll show you this from GB News. The arrests were carried out by specialist officers as part of a planned intelligence-led operation into extreme right-wing terrorism. Counter-Terrorism Policing South East said a 27-year-old woman from Hailsham was arrested alongside 3 men from Eastbourne, aged 33, 36 and 41. So, yes, there you have it. Although I did think terrorism was terrorism, so it would be a terrorist offence. I didn't know there was a specific far-right terrorist offence. There never seems to be, does there, anything else? It's just terrorism. Anyway, the point has been made. The far right are going terrorist. So there you go. But when it's not the far right, no mention is made of the suspect's motives on arrest, other than to say they are British-born where applicable. And I thought the far right were meant to be ageing, bald-headed male gammons, not aged from 27 to 41 and including a female. Yes, what do you reckon to that one then?
Well, yes, balding and gammons, good grief, Jeff. I mean, I'm waiting for the knock on the door. The thing is, first of all, we don't know anything about this other than this is what we've been told by the police. I mean, they have been arrested for terrorism. Whether they are far right or not, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things, you know. We've been told they're far right, but unfortunately, trust has slipped a little bit because recently, most people in this country have been branded as far right. So what constitutes far right extremism? That's a very difficult. That's a difficult one. But I mean, these people, if they were plotting something and they were terrorists and they were looking, then they deserve to be banged up. End of. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
And I've been saying this for a while. We do have a far right in this country.
Yes.
And we have a far right, and they are waiting in the wings to take advantage of the inaction of our political class to solve the problem with the small boats and immigration at large and other things that are taking place in this country. So I would expect there to be a far right emerging right about now, and I would expect there to be a far right that is going to be looking into committing terrorist acts. Now, I don't condone those acts. I think this is a bloody horrible situation to be in. None of us want to be in this situation. What we want as normal, decent Brits is to be served a decent society by our establishment. That's what we want. A safe society where, you know, like that song by Pink Floyd goes, where old pensioners or whatever, old men can walk safely down the street without having to worry about what happens. Yeah, Jeff.
Yes, but these two stories coming out on the same day, this Polish angle thing just doesn't seem right to me. I can't work that one out. Someone has said in the comments there, the Polish should have guessed it. I mean, I would never have, if anyone had asked me to reel off a list of nationalities, I would not have come up with Polish in the first 10, that's for sure. And,
well, that goes to show, doesn't it,
this,
Jeff? It just goes to show that
then,
we must be expecting the far right. And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if they're Polish, doesn't necessarily mean they're white. They could be Polish, but it doesn't mention their ethnicity.
That's the explosives one. Yeah, that's the first one. The second,
exactly. Yes,
you mustn't get mixed up.
Oh no! Two different separate things. Yeah. Yes, but these people who are were these Polish gentlemen who were arrested up in Derby. I mean, we don't know anything about their ethnicity, their motivation. I mean, they had a Polish passport, okay, but the likelihood of them being from a certain demographic, I'd imagine, is quite low because the influx to Poland from a certain demographic is a lot lower. So what's going on there? Oh, isn't this interesting? you can't tell what's happening, really. You can't form a full opinion until you know the facts. And that's why Jeff and myself, we try and remain as neutral as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, and thank you very much to the Black Nothing. Wow, that has to be a record for how fast they release that information. Anyways, I still say make UK and a temporary 51st state just so we can help you. Yes, that mightn't be so far from what's needed. Yes, someone was saying, or a couple of people have said that when these explosives, the first one we talked about, the explosive were found and the two guys were arrested, they were sent to a Salvation Army place, I believe, and someone kept saying, well, why didn't they send them to a hotel? Oh, they were probably full. So, yes, yeah, they were sent to the Salvation Army, I gather. Now, these later, the four people that were arrested under the second one were arrested under Section 41 of the Terrorist Act 2000, where the police officers have the power to arrest persons suspected of terrorism-related offences without a warrant. And these arrest powers also allow the extended detention of persons beyond the maximum 4 days available under standard arrest powers, and they can be held to a maximum of 14 days, which I think can also be renewed. And I will just say here that the woke internationalist open borders types will be pointing at this particular arrest for weeks. Although there do appear to have been other arrests on charges of terrorism of those not labelled as far-right this year as well. So, yeah.
Oh, well, there was total silence over that for the majority of the mainstream press and our elites and the celebrati, I shall say. Yeah.
Celebrati.
Yeah. Expect them to be, all over this, though, for goodness sake. This is going to be, this is going to be a field day for the left. They'll be like, oh, look, it wasn't who it usually is it? Normally it's somebody else. And but look, it's somebody different. It's somebody different. That proves everything is equal, that we have complete cultural and moral and religious relativism right across the board. And that all things it's all fine. Let's bring more people in. Yes, open doors. Yes, that's how it'll be framed. And there we go. That's all it is.
Yes, and someone's pointed out 6 days ago, Norbert Gierksik from Kestrel Road, Hereford, was arrested in May last year over albums in which lyrics breached terrorism legislation, and they were far-right lyrics as far as I can make out. He's pleaded guilty, and he's been jailed. Yeah. There you go. So even music is verboten. Oh, sorry, shouldn't say that word. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's this one here.
There's lots of words we can't say. Yes.
Oh, dear me, Kev Clegg. Couldn't possibly say anything like that, could we?
No, couldn't say that. No. No, good grief, no.
Although,
Storm would be right on top of us. I shouldn't say Storm would have been right on top of us. That's not what I meant.
Wasn't he underneath that or something?
Whatever, Jeff. Yes, let's move along. We can't be saying things like that.
What has happened about that? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. What has happened about that particular thing? It's like you'd think there was some sort of, I don't know, court order to not talk about it given to the press, wouldn't you, or something? Otherwise, they'd be all over it, wouldn't they? I'm sure that if it had been during Boris Johnson's time, something like that would never have had any sort of press restrictions placed on it, would it? Oh, dear, yes. They're horrible, aren't they? But there you go. That's... So
I was just reading what Superintendent Becky Webster from Derbyshire Police confirmed the details... already shared the police force. Blah, 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 blah. She reassured residents the evacuations were a precaution to ensure the safety of those in the area. Now, this is a strange thing because how bad was this? When you have to evacuate 200 homes. Is there a standard sort of radius that you have to evacuate? Because that does seem like an awful lot of homes to evacuate, and for a small explosive. I mean, my goodness, what were they bringing in? Nukes? Small nukes or something? Good grief, I don't know.
I looked at the BBC website when it first happened, and there's a map of the Derby evacuation. Cambridge, there are 200 homes, and they give a list of them, of the roads that they've actually, if I can find it again. Yeah, here we go. Vulcan Street in its entirety, Reeves Road in its entirety, Shaftesbury Crescent in its entirety, Harrington Street from Holcombe Street to Vulcan Street, Baseball Drive to Colombo Street, Cambridge Street at Reeves Road and Shaftesbury Crescent. I mean, it's quite a large sort of area for that. Just erring on the side of safety, I suppose. It looks quite big on the map, but there you go. Yes,
absolutely,
interesting.
Just to be safe and sound. Yeah,
just to be safe and sound, definitely. Yes. Thank you, three-stranded cord. Three-stranded cord. The state needs to ID by culture, not nationality. Actually, we don't need IDs at all, do we? Really? You're a national. It's. But if we are to do it, culture is by far the more thing that people will get obsessive about than just mere nationality or colour or creed. It is a cultural thing. But there you go.
Yeah, well, at least we live in a democratic society, Jeff, where elections aren't cancelled. That's the main thing. Oh, hang on a second. No, we don't.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, and
days,
as someone's pointed
Jeff.
out, as Anthony Notaro says, remember Tommy Robinson was arrested for terrorism charge for not handing over his phone number, his PIN to his phone. He handed the phone over because they took it off of him, but they didn't have a PIN, so couldn't get into it, and he wouldn't hand the PIN over. Thankfully, the judge heard the way the arrest had actually been put together, found a lot of flaws in it, and decided that he should go free with no ability for the press to now say Tommy Robinson, the convicted terrorist, because that's what they would have done every single time. So yeah.
Oh, they were already painting him as such anyway. But I'm just thinking about Nigel Farage today has accused Keir Starmer, I'm listening from the Daily Mail, of not believing in democracy. No Sherlock. Today, after it emerged, more elections are being delayed amid dire polls for Keir Starmer. We've just got to cancel the elections for a bit longer. Just a bit longer. It's all because we're trying to save democracy. Yeah, oh, shut up, you plank. I mean, the Reform leader condemned the PM's monstrous move in postponing 4 mayoral contests from May to 2028. The decision will affect 7.5 million residents in Essex, Hampshire, and the Solent, Sussex, and Brighton, Norfolk, and Suffolk. And they wonder why we're seeing a rise in extremism on the far right, for instance. I mean, as I said, I'm not condoning.
This seems to be extremist behaviour by a government, doesn't it?
Oh, totally, yes.
I don't know.
Yes. It's highly bloody extremist.
It was I did a video. This is lunchtime. I did a video, not a live stream, just a video on this particular subject. And in there, I pointed out that Richard Tice had said, well, if they'd come up and said, we have to delay it for a month or two, everyone again, yeah, okay. But to say that this is going to be so complicated, we've got to delay democracy for a couple of years, it makes the old hackles stand up on the back of the neck, doesn't it? So, yeah. But we are all going to feel safer in the future in our towns and cities as vast numbers of facial recognition cameras are erected across the UK. From The Telegraph. Live facial recognition cameras planned for every town centre. Labour proposals will
Yippee.
allow police to compare photos of crime suspects against images of 45 million Britons in the passport database. So the criminals all have to have passports or be on the immigration list, because I gather they can use that as well. So don't get a pass. If you're going to get involved in crime, don't get a passport, because your photograph then doesn't. I just wonder whether that'll include the DVLA database as well in time, and all the other stuff that comes out of it. But it does sort of make the mind boggle. But it's not just going to be these cameras that the police have. They're going to give them to retailers as well. The retail will have the cameras there in their shops as well. So you go into Tesco's or Co-op or whatever, and face scanning will take place there as well. But why? I thought digital ID would save us all. Weren't we told that crime will be cracked out and stamped out by digital IDs? But the belt and braces approach to ensure total control is probably best, isn't it? And, more importantly, think about this. Will they ban all face coverings, including the religious ones, in towns and cities? Or maybe you can only wear see-through masks and burqas or whatever. Now, at the moment, the police has only limited access to the passport and immigration databases. Will this now become a complete blanket thing to allow them access to all the datas and let their cameras rip through? Yeah. What do you reckon, Richard, to that one? Do you think it's going to save us?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can do the minimum we can do is a cheer and wave at each camera. As soon as every criminal in this country has an obligation as well to show his face. To a camera. The thing is, if you were wearing, say, hypothetically, a burqa, they couldn't, of course, make you take that off. And in fact, there's been this terrible thing. It's awfully racist of them, where you've got all these gentlemen who are going along to protest now wearing burqas. How awful. How
Yes.
racist. Oh, hang on. But then again, if you wish to wear a burqa, and somebody says you can't wear a burqa, it's like, don't tell me I can't wear a burqa. Excuse me, it's my right to wear a burqa. I'll wear what I bloody well want to wear. And I'll wear one of those industrial burqas, actually, where you just got, like the ladies in Afghanistan now have to do, which I believe is they can only have one eye, which they can look out of. But, of course, that's progressive, isn't it? Yes, of course it is, Jeff. But there we go.
Yes, it is. Yes, you're right. Gemma Banks says, I don't mind cameras as I have nothing to hide. Most of us have nothing to hide until we say the wrong thing on social media and your photograph's on there. We do have to begin to think about exactly how far this will go. And if you make one single thing that looks like Islamic hate crime, then you might end up walking down the street and find yourself being lifted. Hey, we don't want you here in our town.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that
So
would
it's,
actually manifest as being you wouldn't be allowed to criticize Islam or any other religion. No. Actually, no, it's not any religion. It's just Islam. Yeah, that's right. It has to be. There's nothing like uniformity in the law, is there? Where
No.
one religion. You just can't criticize one religion. In fact, you can't criticize. So criticizing is now going to be potentially an arrestable offence. That's where. Don't forget you had, was it somebody criticised the local government or something, and they had the police turning up at their door, and a local councillor. You're on mute at the moment, Jeff. And yeah, Jeff's on mute. See if you can find the button.
I found the button. It keeps
Okay.
doing it itself. No, they'll
Sorry,
just
what-
say it was a school, wasn't it, where they knocked on the door. 2 police officers. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one incident. There was another one as well. But yeah, there's lots of these incidents. I did read today. Elon Musk retweeted something that somebody's been sent to jail here in the UK for a tweet which mentioned terminology that I wouldn't use, words that I wouldn't use, that are deemed to be racist. I wouldn't use them. Would I have somebody arrested for that and thrown into jail? That's another matter entirely. Do I think that saying horrible words that I wouldn't use, that I think are distasteful, would I expect somebody to go to jail for that? If somebody called me, and I have been called a few racist things in my time, but I mean, do I think that those people who said those things to me deserve to be racist, even though at the time they may have been bullying? No. I'm big enough, I'm ugly enough to be able to take that. I will not expect another citizen of this country to be arrested and thrown into prison because they say something that I find offensive. Oh, dearie me. What a shame. Bloody nonsense. This country's had it. Anyway, Jeff, I put up on the screen there something for you to put up. I put there for somebody to put up there.
Oh, this one.
Indeed.
Nightmare for Rachel Reeves as blunder could trigger early election. Exclusive. Esther McVey has suggested that the Prime Minister will face a leadership challenge from MPs.
Indeed. I will continue
I've got
reading this
more
from
on
the Daily
that one in a
Express.
minute. Yeah.
Okay, well,
In fact-
I shall go on. I shall carry on here quickly.
Well, no, I shall nip across it, but just before I do, I just
on,
want
go
to
for it.
go through a couple of things here, which is right now in the UK. Let's have a look at our UK civil liberties. They've cancelled local elections. They've cancelled, or they're going to cancel, mayoral elections for 2 years. We've got mandatory digital ID coming in, and it's already being rolled out. We arrest people for online comments, stuff that 20 years ago people would have just laughed at or ignored. And this is coming from the offence department. That's all this is. It's just building the whole thing up. You say a word, it's offensive. We've cancelled jury trials, or we're on the way to cancelling them. We're now going to cancel them all except the most severe crimes, and I reckon that will go in time. And now we've got the rollout of facial recognition in every town. Do you know something? I'm wondering whether we'll start a major war to cancel democracy for good very soon, although that would never happen, would it?
No.
And to go to Richard's, this one here, nightmare for Rachel Reeves as blunder could trigger an early election. Well, news is just coming in right now that according to X, it's trending on X, loads of UK citizens are calling on King Charles to dissolve Parliament and force a general election, because a government petition to call for an immediate general election has topped the 1 million mark today. Petition number 727309. Here it is. Call an immediate general election. We want an immediate general election to be held. We think the majority need and want change. And he's only been in there for a year and a half, hasn't he? 1,046,067 signatures, and that was a couple of hours ago when I took that screenshot. And Parliament will be debating this petition on the 12th of January 2026. So there'll be lots of excuses made and about democracy and you can't do this, that and the other. You can't react to a democratic call. But there again, you've got to remember that the Brexit reversal petition got 3 million, or was it 4 million signatures, and nothing happened there, thank goodness. But so I doubt see anything happening this time either. Now, the government response, you can see it at the bottom, is this government was elected on a mandate of change at the July 2024 general election. Our full focus is on fixing the foundations, rebuilding Britain and restoring public confidence in government. Yeah, the antics of Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves so far on this have definitely been destroying both our civil liberties and the economy. not to mention agriculture. And they seem to have upset everyone in the country whose policies lie to the right of Karl Marx. And also in their response to the petition, the government said the following, and you'll love this one. On entering office, a £22 billion black hole was identified in the nation's finances. We inherited unprecedented challenges with crumbling public services and crippled public finances. They seem to have just made it even worse, don't they? But we'll deliver a decade of national renewal through our 5 missions. Economic growth, fixing the NHS, safer streets, making Britain a clean energy superpower, and opportunity for all. I love it. Opportunity for anyone who can get on the benefits. This is what was promised and is what we are delivering. But
yes,
they
of course
seem
it
to
is.
have missed out a few things. They didn't mention ID cards, live facial recognition cameras, cancelling elections for 2 years, stopping trial by jury, and stamping out free speech, did they? Now, what the petition would lead to is King Charles just basically getting rid of Parliament. Just saying, you're off, dissolving Parliament, general election. But the trouble is Charles is on exactly the same political hymn sheet, word for word, as Keir Starmer is. He approves of it. He's not going to call a halt to this wonderful woke train, is he?
Actually, I'm not sure if King Charles can dissolve Parliament anymore. I did read quite recently that that's something that got changed, I believe. Yeah. He may no longer have that ability. Or if he were to, it would be the only time he could do it and he would somehow delegitimize himself. I can't remember. It would cause a massive constitutional crisis. Something has gone on there. And I wonder why that is as well. So if we have this constitutional monarch who cannot dissolve Parliament, what's he doing there? Who are you?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
You know, what's the point in
because the
that?
constitutional,
or his family?
He is the constitutional backstop. He is meant to be the constitutional backstop, the constitutional monarch, able to act on the behalf of the people. But when your constitutional backstop is working on behalf of the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, you begin to question what's going on, don't you? Three-stranded cord again, thanks, says Big Brother is watching, moulding us into conformity. It's actually cleverer than that. What they do is they use the system to make you self-censor. You're so worried about what might happen to you that you don't say the words you're not meant to say. They don't even need to turn up on your doorstep. In the end, you will just self-censor to have an easy life. And that's the way we're being conditioned. It's very subtle in this country. Robbing us of free speech is extremely subtle here.
Oh, yeah. So I've just been doing a bit of looking at this. Apparently King Charles, he can dissolve Parliament, but by strong constitutional convention. There's... Very strange. I've read a few mixed things on this today. I've done a little bit of research on this. But as you rightly said, let's put ourselves in the mindset that he can dissolve Parliament and that he doesn't. Therefore, he is obviously giving his moral and he's legitimizing the government and he's given his approval that his moral stance is aligned with that of this government and Parliament and what is taking place in this country. That's all you can establish from it. Yes, the king loves it all. Yes, well, he said no borders. That's it. You know, no borders between France and Britain and England. That's his own words. We should be more welcoming.
But he's perfectly happy with the border across the Irish Sea between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, isn't he? Imposed by the EU. Doesn't mention that one.
No, of course not. No, he wouldn't mention that, would he?
No. Yeah. And thank you, Honesty and Truth. Thank you for your contribution. Shut down the government. National strike.
I'm hearing more of this. I'm hearing more
Yeah,
and
I'm
more of
hearing
this
more of it
national
as
strike.
well.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is if there was a large national strike, we'd all go down to Tesco's and there'd be nothing on the shelves. So yeah, that's the sort of thing that happens.
Well, is that what it'll take? Is that what it would take to force a general election? Maybe, I don't know. I know that
would they just stand back, let you starve, and go back to work when you needed the money?
well, they
Yeah, I
wouldn't
don't
have
know.
any parliament. There wouldn't be any tax. There would be no system. There would be no. Yeah.
Richard, they just borrow it on the markets at whatever price it takes.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to. The price of guilt would just go soaring. No.
Yeah. The Black Nothing, thank you. Facial recognition, unless you wear a burqa, as pointed out, would they have to ban all of that or either that or they've got photographs in passports of people in burqas. So every time someone commits a crime in a burqa, if they do, I'm not saying they do, but if they did, then every person whose photograph on their passports is of them in a burqa would end up being investigated by the police. Yes. John Dingle, hi all. No elections, no democracy, no freedoms, no rights, no jury trials, no borders, no privacy, no stopping taxes, no honest MPs, and no defences. Yeah.
Happy, joy.
Is that a definition of the United Kingdom?
I think it is.
Today.
That's it. You know, this is why Elon Musk and many others are looking across at the United Kingdom in absolute despair. They're thinking, my goodness, what's going on there? And that's why, that's why. I mean, that comment from earlier. We need to become the next state of America, just for a transitionary period. Well, maybe we do, but then again, do you know what? All this smacks of problem, reaction, solution, and all of society is just being corralled into. All of us, we're being corralled into something. We don't know what it is. It's going to come with some kind of globalist, centralized government. I mean, why else would they want to destabilize everything? I mean, these people who are coming into this country, who are, by the looks of it, being brought through, and encouraged by NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Why else would all this be taking place? What benefit does Britain have and the West have from mass immigration from countries, from unskilled labour, from other countries brought in? And we're talking, there's asylum seekers. Shut the
yes.
Yeah, up.
And thank you again, John Dingle. I have nothing to hide, folk that say they are happy to be a part of the criminal class and therefore guilty by a judge's opinion, not a jury. Yeah, if you say you have nothing to hide, you will have something to hide in the end, because they will always, in the end, come after what you believe in or what you think or how what you think is right. They will come after you. That's the problem. Everyone is a target for these people because they want robots. They just want human robots. Turn up at the workplace, pay taxes, own nothing, retire and die. That's all they want. That's all you are to them.
Those taxes are going to be gone soon, but there we go.
Yeah, Victor Meldrew, thank you very much. Hello, Jeff, Richard. A few of us was wondering, is there any chance you can do your live stream later after Dan Wootton, as we love both channels? Thank you. Well, that's one of the things we were thinking about, actually.
We were thinking about it, and this is something which is, Dan Wootton does a cracking show, but there are other people as well who come on, and it's literally, I mean, to be honest with you, we did, for about 3-4 years ago, allocate the 5:45 slot. We did sort of put a stamp on it. We sort of deviated and drifted a little bit from that, but... the thing is, there are other people who come on later. We're always going to be treading on somebody's toes, and we're always going to, interfere with somebody's live stream and timing. So I think we will probably try our best to stick to either 5:45, but we will look at the 7 o'clock mark as well. But there are other people who go live at 7 who people enjoy. It's, It's, the competition is quite stiff.
if you want to get your thoughts out there, it is quite a stiff market for the UK between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. There's a lot of people out there. We did even think about getting up early and doing an early live stream. But Richard didn't want to do that.
No, we tried that. It didn't work. Just the brace, like, morning all. Yeah, there's the news. I don't care. Hate it. Hate these people.
Yeah.
Who are they? These celebrities. I absolutely bloody hate them. And that's how it sort of went. Yeah, but it's a tough one. Anyway, we do our thing, and we do it here on the Jeff Taylor channel. This is where we have camped our ground now. I think we will stick to 5:45 unless we have a better idea. But thank you anyway, Victor Meldrew. Thank you. God bless you.
A good observation. And
it is indeed.
I can understand why people think that. I can. The Black Nothing, thank you. All jokes aside, the safety argument is a lie. Society will never be fully safe. They become safer when they are high trust, not authoritarian.
Oh,
exactly.
Yes.
The only
well
reason
said.
they become authoritarian is because they become less safe for the ruling classes. Yeah, that's why they become authoritarian.
Yeah.
And when they don't do what the masses want, then the masses get upset. That's who they're frightened of. They're not frightened of anyone else. It's the masses. It's the ordinary people in the street they're more frightened of. That's why they're always trying to find an excuse to crack down on them, labelling them as far right, whatever it might be. But they are absolutely terrified. And even if there's terrorism being conducted by other people, other groups, if there's a danger that the majority will backlash, the majority will be the ones that the government go for every time, because they're the bigger threat.
Yes. Comment here, Thomas Thiessen. How can you and Richard hate celebs, Jeff? You're both celebs. Well, we get recognised, but it does. But as for celebrities, hang on, Jeff, Thomas, I think you just killed Jeff. That's one celebrity less. I don't know if we're celebrities. I can't think like that. It's very difficult to think like that we're celebrities. Good grief. That's yes. Anyway, there we go. Jeff, we need to get back to some kind of plot here. We've completely lost it.
So I will just say, when I first started this lark, I just thought I'm speaking to people out there on the internet. They're just sort of over there. And then one day I walked into a shop, I can't remember who it was, and someone came up and looked at me with wide eyes and said, "You're Jeff, aren't you?" And I was trying to do my shopping, because when in this position, both Richard and I are the same, we compartmentalise ourselves. So from 5:45 to whatever time we're here, we are doing this. As soon as we come out of that, we go down the road. We're just somehow just everybody. We're just like everyone else. We've got to go shopping, drive the car, walk around, see the relations, all this sort of thing. And it comes a bit of a surprise sometimes when people come up to you, and you sort of got to switch your mindset. So yeah, it's quite challenging sometimes. Yeah. Oh, where are we? Yes, here we go. The Black Nothing says the so-called elites need to fear God. I totally agree with that.
Oh, yes. We all do there. We all do. We all need to fear God. Good grief. Yes. So I've just put something up on the screen there, Jeff.
Oh, have you? Oh, sorry. Right. Okay, let's have a look.
Jeffnology. Come on.
Hospitals facing unprecedented flu season, say NHS bosses.
Well, go on,
there you
Jeff.
go. Look. So does that mean we've got loads and loads and loads of people clogging up the wards with flu? Isn't it strange when we've got a record number of people in this country, we have record numbers of flu cases in
I had never thought of that, Jeff. That's quite an insight there. Yes, do
you know something?
BBC. Go on.
Yeah,
go on.
I've been saying for years, everyone says, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Just let all these people in. It's all right." They're blah blah blah. Well, they don't realise that in the old days, when we didn't have mass immigration, what the governments used to do was look at data, and they say, right, people are being born today. We know that on average, with the number of deaths of children, blah, 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 by the time they get to 5, we're going to need this many primary schools in the country. Here, 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 and here. 5 years ahead, they'll know that. And they'll know from that data that in 18 years' time, they'll have this number of people entering the workplace. Nowadays, we haven't got a clue because we just let everybody in. So we don't know how many hospitals will we need in 2030? We don't know because we don't know how many people are going to be here because we just let all and sundry in. How can you plan your roads, your hospitals, your cities, your waterworks, your gas works, or not gas works? How many wind turbines will we need? It's just ridiculous to think that we can just waft our way through this. We need to limit this so that we know these things and we can plan our economy.
No, that's racist, Jeff. That's racist, that is, of course. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading
Thank
here.
you for
The
that.
number of flu patients in hospital has hit a record high in England for the first time of the year. With NHS leaders warning the country is facing an unprecedented flu season. I've had a bit of a sniffle and a cough, and my little boy, he's had a bit of a sniffle and a cough by all accounts, and he seems to be doing okay. And yes, it's just all right then. It says here it comes as the flu season hit a month earlier than normal this year, with exports were. I'm not going to read any more of this because it's utter crap, and I don't care. Okay, here's the thing: it feels like almost we're being prepared for another round. It's like, oh, don't forget to get your jibbery jabberies. Oh yes, okay, yes, yes, I'll. Yes, it's very important we get those because that'll stop you getting the. Oh, wait, maybe it won't, but maybe it will. I don't know. All I do know is I have something called an immune system. And the more I use it, the stronger it remains and the better it gets. And I'm now trying, even though for quite a while I've been eating some rubbish food, I have now gone back to eating what is a decent diet. And I feel better for it. And my immune system is going, oh, thank you, Richard. Thank you very much for eating a decent diet and not filling me with crap. Now I can actually do my job. And that's what an immune system's for. So as for these hospitals facing unprecedented levels of flu, I don't care. If you want to stop people getting sick and ill, get them eating decent food and and make it subsidised. Yes, let's go and subsidise the farmers for a while. Or at least stop taxing them if you're not going to subsidise them. Stop taxing them to the bloody hilt. Remove this inheritance taxing. Get rid of this net zero boller. Yeah. And, so that the costs of the fertilizers can go down. The amount of taxation taken for fuel in this country, and it's all to pay for net zero. Take net zero and shove it up yeah, Jeff.
Yes, I totally agree. And I'm just going through this. Thank you very much to John Dingle again. What about the Islamic 12,000 place cemetery in Oswald's Twistle, Lancashire, with halls, mosque, and who knows what else? Aussie only has 10,000 residents. Yeah, this is the big super graveyard, isn't it, or something? Yeah. I wonder if they think a lot of them are going to die for some reason or other. I don't know. It does seem a bit over the top, doesn't it? But there you go.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Teresa Stewart. I try my best. Just going back down the comments. Here we go. Andrew, thank you. When my son was at school, I always had colds. For 7+ years now, I've not had a cold of any kind. Just a motorcyclist's runny nose due to cold weather conditions over 45 years of motorcycling. Yeah, I've got a motorbike, and that happens to me as well. Yeah, it's quite funny, that. Oh, and I get, in cold weather, if I go out in the cold weather, I get icicles on me tash, which can be a little bit, yes. Richard doesn't know what to say about that, does it?
No.
And Jonathan Albridge said, I do my best to eat healthy, and I took the flu thingy because so far, every time I get it, I suffer like it's the Black Death. I seem to get it even if healthy. Yeah, some people do seem to be a bit more prone than others, don't they? I don't know why, but it's might be a natural thing. But here's the thing, is they've had a massive rollout of the arm-injected cough syrup, haven't they, over this winter, and they're still pushing it. So one wonders if they've failed in getting it all out there, if so many people are in hospital, or is there some other reason? The Black Nothing, thank you. Last one, Obama let 80,000 Somalis into Minnesota, and now in 2025 they've defrauded the taxpayer of billions and used it to sponsor, is what happens. You just let people in, leave them to their own devices. You don't know anything about them, don't know anything about their culture. I'm sorry, but you're saving up problems for yourself, aren't you?
That's just insane when you think 80,000 into Minnesota.
Forever English, yes. Remove Labour, and 90% of your problems will go. I'm not so sure. I think I think you'd reduce it by 10% if the Tories got back in. That's all you'd do. You'd reduce it a bit, because the Tories and Labour seem to always end up doing the same thing. They do it a different way, but it's always with the same end game in sight. I think the Tories just do it slower. Labour just don't care. They just get on with it. They know generally they've got one term and that's it. So they do it quickly. They run at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's
now we've got Reform, who would look the most likely to get into power. And I do think there will be an improvement. Tommy Robinson said this quite recently. If Reform got into power, there would be an improvement. There's no doubt about that. How much of an improvement? I mean, freedom of speech, I'm not so sure on that. How far that would go even. I mean,
yeah.
Now they speak of freedom of speech, yet members of their own party, if they were supporters of, say, Tommy Robinson, the Unite the Kingdom movement, they were deselected or told not to support such persons. So there seems to be a freedom of speech issue there within Reform. And also we could be looking, well, we do know who we'd be looking at as Prime Minister after Farage. That would be Mohammed Zia Youssef. But right now, if there's an election, who am I voting for? It would be Reform. It'd have to be. Best of a bad bunch, I'd say. And that's it. Yeah. And it's not who I want to vote for at all. I mean, can't we have, I'm repeating myself, we want Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib to get together, sort it out, take over Reform, or just make advance into that party, whatever it takes. We need some decent people at the top of these parties, not people that we don't trust.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a comment here about the Polish. If I was Polish, I'd be in Poland. Yeah. They seem to be doing quite well.
Yeah.
Building up their defences. They're getting focused. We're not focused in this country because we don't recognise the threat, the real threat to us at the moment. It's not gelled in the psyche at the moment, but it will be. And then we'll get focused, and that's when things will change. I assure you. That's why we keep doing what we do.
It's looking. I mean, it is looking scary with Russia right now, because the rhetoric is changing slightly, and I'm like, I don't know. But I also do remember, was it Professor David Betts saying that he doesn't believe that there is a likelihood of a war between Russia and the UK for a number of reasons, and that was a very interesting bit of information there. I think the real problem we have is internal, and that's what we are facing in this country, is a potential internal civil war. We are facing that. And we don't want it.
Yeah. Gary says, Reform blocked me off their live stream for asking questions they didn't like. Well, that sounds very democratic, doesn't it?
Doesn't surprise me whatsoever, yes. Gary. Yeah, that's Reform. But there we go. What else do we have, Gary? You know, it's a hideous situation. It is. It's hideous. Hideous. When you look at the political parties, the electable political parties in this country, the ones with any potential right now, when I say electable, I mean electable today. I'm not talking about advance in the future, or a resurgent UKIP. I'm not talking about any of those things. Or a party that will come out of nowhere, led by Rupert Lowe. Again, I'm repeating myself, but 10% of Brits, when polled recently, said that they would support a party fronted by Rupert Lowe. So, yeah. Don't know what to do.
There's 2 comments in. I'll just go through them both. This one, is Farage talking about merging with the Tories? Well, the Financial Times said he was talking about doing a deal with the Tories, talking to his donors and telling them that he would do a deal with the Tories, talking to his donors. But he has vehemently denied that. He said the FT is full of SH1T.
And so the Tories. The Tories have denied it as well.
Yeah. So they're
Kenny
denying
Badenoch
it.
has said no. Yeah.
So
but
that's not going to happen. But, if they get to the other side of the general election and the Tories do better than expected and Reform does not so well as expected, and the only way to get into a proper government is for them to get together, who knows? Who knows? Now, this is an interesting comment from Three-Stranded Cord. A Reform majority will surely bring heightened troubles because the left will kick off. Now, that could actually be a thing. We've already seen them in action, haven't we? The violence from the left is far more rife than it is from the right.
There is a difference,
especially when they're backed up. When they're backed up by the religious element as well.
There is a huge difference here, though. If Reform gets in and the left do kick off, I think you'll find that the police tackling and the authorities tackling with such persons would have a lot of support of the British people and the backing, potentially physically, of the British people to prevent that from happening. Obviously all within a legal framework, of course, but that is what you'll find, that yes, the left probably will kick off, and the right, which is, sorry guys, if you're on the left, that's the majority of the people in the country right now. And sorry to say, Keir Starmer, by your metric, we're all far bloody right, which is nonsense. I keep worrying about this I do worry about the far right. Maybe there is something to this, because there could be maybe the far right is starting to emerge and becoming emboldened because they can see what's happening. They can see the mood music of this country. And it's quite frightening if we do have an emergent far right in Britain. Good grief, they are not... I mean, we're talking here about ethno-nuts in particular. And as Bob of Speaker's Corner said the other day, they are not Christian. They're not. If we're trying to say we're a Christian country and we recognise that and we recognise our Christian heritage, there's no place for ethno-nationalism within the framework of a Christian belief system. It doesn't work. So if you're going to be an ethno-nat, don't claim that you're Christian at the same time. It's not going to happen. You can believe me. We can go through Bible verses if you want together on that one. If you want to start kicking off here. But yeah, nationalism is very different. You see, there's such a thing as being a Christian nationalist is different to being a nationalist Christian. And again, People's Front of Judea, Judean People's Front, all very up in the air. Anyway, carry on. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, those are good points. So take them in. Three-Stranded Cord again. Farage is a campaigner. That's it. Yeah, he is. He is a very good campaigner. A lot of people do point out that sometimes he campaigns without he offers the problem but not solutions. And if you want to be in power, you've got to offer solutions. And he has been doing the rounds. He does do press conferences offering solutions, this, that, and the other to various things. So he seems to be morphing into that, but I'm not so sure that I trust him or believes a lot of what he says. Yeah. But
sorry, I have to just interject here. So if I did say young Bob earlier, I meant Bob of Speaker's Corner. I might have. Somebody also, I can't remember where, but said, "What's wrong with far right?" I can't do racism. I won't do it. I can't do actual racism. And again, Bob Speaker's Corner said, if you're against people of different nationalities, colours, if they're Christian, you see, we can end up with three options, okay? Which is, as Bob said, sectarianism, effectively, and what you call it, apartheid, racial apartheid in this country. We're going to end up with Sharia law, or we're going to end up with Christendom. And I want Christendom. That's what I see when I look at countries like Poland. I'm seeing the remnants of not remnants. I'm seeing what this country used to be, what Europe used to be. Yeah, we need Christendom. We need it back. There's so many people in the Unite the Kingdom movement who are of different ethnicities, who are Christian. They're pulling together, and you have other people who are like, oh, no, we don't need all that. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I cannot follow that. I cannot follow that.
No, good points. Yeah.
Yeah, I will not follow a racist agenda. It's nonsense.
Yeah. John Davis says, are you going on the 13th to London? Now, this, I wanted to go to London on the 13th because there are two events in London, but they do clash. One is the No to Digital ID, which starts outside the old BBC building, Portland Place, where the statue that guy damaged, the statue put together by that rather dodgy sculptor years and years and years ago, is on display there. It starts there, but it gathers there at 1, and the march starts at 1:30 for No to Digital ID. And the other one is the Tommy Robinson Unite the Kingdom Urban Scoop carol service or carol event that starts at 2:00 on the same day. But I have something else, and I probably won't be able to make it to either of them. I'd have loved to have done both, but that would have been a very tight call to try and do half of one and half of the other. Because No to Digital ID, that needs to be pushed really a lot. It really does. There have been marches in the past. I did a stream on one. That was the one where someone had a sort of had a go at me, if you remember. And
oh yes.
I think that needs to be really, really, really pushed. That whole concept. It needs a lot more support. So yeah. So I'd have loved to have gone to both, but we're coming up to Christmas, and I have, just like everybody else, have time pressures that you have at the same time. You have dues to go to and family commitments and stuff. So yeah.
One of the things I want to
whether I can make
talk
it.
about here, Jeff, as well. Sorry, going back to the racism point, is that there is a form of racism that isn't talked about as well, and that is where the potential of an emergent far right will be making hay, and that is because we're seeing so much racism against whites here in the UK and in the West, and that has to end. I've had enough of this anti-white racism and rhetoric that's taking place. What is the global population now of whites? Is it 8%? Is it? It's dropped so low. It's plummeting.
Well, it never was high. It never was high. That high. It's 8%.
No,
and going down because we don't have children. Whites don't have children.
That is an issue, and so I mean, okay, so let's go there. Let's really go there. Wanting to have preservation of one race, is that racist? So it's okay for people in, say, Africa to have, well, it depends what part of Africa you are, but whatever country, Pakistan, India, Iran, China, Australia, with the Aborigines, with the peoples there, it's okay for them to maybe want to hold on to their racial heritage and be proud of it, but it's not okay to be proud of having a white thing. I don't understand it, Jeff. I really don't. There's something gone wrong here. And again, then it
Well,
becomes the point of mixed race. No, Jeff, I have to finish here. Sorry, mixed race.
Yeah.
My son, he's mixed race, and I have to ask myself, what problem do people always? If you're mixed race, you're of neither world. I heard that Steve Laws talking about that. I thought, no, sorry, Steve. I remember before you were born, and I can remember what it was like in Britain before racism became a thing. Before we were all looking at this world through bloody racist lenses, that one race looking at another. There was no race. We were just in it together. We were the United Kingdom. Just what skin color didn't matter. It's like, all right, mate, whatever. And that's gone now. And the race I don't think it is the far right who started this. I think this is the far left who started this. And you now have
I agree.
and you now have a far right emerging to counter it, to meet it. And that's the scary thing. None of us are truly, when it comes down to it, none of us are truly racist. Racial profiling? Do we racial profile? Most people do. Regardless of what your ethnicity is. Most people do racially profile people. And what does that tell you? I don't know. But it still doesn't tell you that you make... It depends... The judgment made upon that racial profiling, that is the question, whether a judgment is made upon it. It's like saying, oh, I don't notice that somebody else's skin is darker than mine. Well, I will notice it because I can see that. I can see it's like Jeff's got a red curtain, I've got a green curtain. Do I judge Jeff based on him having a red curtain? And does he judge me based on me having a green curtain? No. It's all about software. It's all about the software, and that's the danger. Go on, Jeff.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Now, I do agree with what you just said. I've just been looking through the comments and I got sidetracked on this one. Intelligent people don't have lots of children. It's quite funny that I think that truly intelligent people would look at the state of the nation and say, I need to have children because I'm going to bring them up properly. And the more properly brought up children we have, the better. So truly intelligent people would do that. Now, have you noticed that the royals always have lots of children? And big dynasty families do as well? Why?
Yeah, but they're thick as pig.
Because they have one knowledge. They know one thing. Children are the future. And if you don't have children, you have no future. If you don't have children, you have resigned from the DNA chain. You resigned from the gene pool. You resigned your whole family from it. Now, some people can't have children. Sorry about that. That is just hard, basically sort of hard luck. It's nothing we
awful.
Can control.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is awful.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that you are to blame for this.
Absolutely.
But people who can have children... I got interviewed by someone on one of these, not an interview as such, but someone was asking me questions for their university. They contacted me ages ago and wanted to talk about how I felt about various things. And I heavied up on this and I said, every person who can have children, you should have children and you should have the aim of bringing up children that are better than you. You get the idea. And if you can do that, then you're doing a massive service to the planet. It's easy to make someone better than me. That's easy, but you get the idea. It's a massive service to the nation and the planet. It's not destroying the planet having a child. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. But thinking outside the box, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen and whatevers.
They, them, that's what's them. Yep. The thing is, it's like this. You have to look at certain demographics within this country are having more children than the indigenous white population of this country, and that's and it's like, okay. Well, I haven't got a problem with people in terms of their ethnicity, but what else is going on there? We're not talking about ethnicity now. We're talking about something else about that demographic. That demographic has got something else going for it, and I can't think what it would be.
No,
something in the software.
Nor can I.
And that's what's worrying. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if we could just wear... I don't care what the colour of somebody's skin is in terms of going to a Christmas market and being safe. I don't care if everyone's just whatever race, I don't care. As long as those diversity and bollards are taken away. That's what I care about.
Yeah.
I care about safety and the future of this country and the Christian ethos that used to underpin this country. We need that back. I don't care about bloody race. We're having it rubbed in our faces all the time. I mean, I'm going on about race tonight.
Yes,
but
we
it
are.
really does.
We are.
Yeah, but it's time this conversation was had, because it's just it totally just destroys our society when we're just looking through this race lens. We have to take that race lens and look at that lens and say, look, stop looking through this. Get rid of that. Let's get back to being what we were. Let's get back to the Britain of 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. Well, part of it is that as we just opened the borders and other people with other cultures, and the cultures generally did follow a sort of a racial set, didn't they? And they have. And when and then when people start making demands, people equate the cultural demand with a race or whatever, with a skin colour. And this is part of the problem. And we are seen as the people who are against progress, progressing the human race forward. We in Britain are the problem. We're not progressing. We haven't adapted to the demands of other people to progress. So this is just all rubbish, really. It's all about integration. It's all about having your own culture, your own way of doing things, and sticking with it and expecting, as has been pointed out before, that when people come into this country new, they are guests here, and guests should act appropriately. And we should have the kahunas to turn around and say, when guests misbehave, out,
go.
And that's what we should be doing.
And as Edward Goldentooth said here, meritocracy, question mark, absolutely. That's what we need in this country, is appointments. Everything in life, totally, your standard in life should be based upon what you actually contribute to this country. And and right now, here's the thing which is driving racism. And it's quite clear to see that people of certain demographics and races in this country are now being pushed forward before and given higher placement before those of who are white and indigenous in this country. What's that about? You can understand where, if you are a young man, a young white man in this country, okay, and you are, all you're seeing is well, first of all, you're the scum of the earth, according to many people on the left and society. Oh, you're the lowest of low. You're white privilege. Oh, okay. All right. So you're instantly beating that kid down. That's what you're doing. And then saying that you can't have... You have to be deprioritized, we'll say, and downgraded in the eyes of society. How does that make a young man feel? Where are you going to run to? And if somebody says, do you know what, lad? You don't have to be ashamed of your race. You don't have to be ashamed of who and what you are. We'll take you on board. Now, you're going to run to the first open arms, I think. And we know that some of those people have nefarious intentions there. Not such good intentions. Anyway, there we go, Jeff. And, Cumbria preaching. Run to Jesus, folks. Yes, that's what should come first. Christendom, Christ. That's it. Everything else is nonsense.
Yeah, and Jonathan Aldridge, thank you again. I watched the interview of World War II veteran called Alan Pele Stone. He said what we fought for was for our freedom, and we did not vote for multiculturalism or how the nation is today. Now, that's absolutely right. No one ever did vote for it. They were told that was what was, as each government has come in, promising all sorts of things. They've just turned around and said, no, you're a racist bigot. Everyone's coming in. You're just racist and a bigot. And that has been the continual message, to the point, as Richard has said, of being put to the back of the queue for everything because you are a racist bigot.
And we're told that multiculturalism, if you don't like that, you're racist. What the What? What does that
There
mean?
should be one culture. There should be one
Yes.
culture. Believe
Well,
it or not.
I don't care what the race. Race is race. Culture is culture. Two different things.
Yes.
You know. It's
Yeah.
it's nonsense. I remember I was having an argument with a certain female Welsh politician, and she said, "Richard, you're guilty of what was it? Cultural racism." Like what? Cultural racism? No, sorry, you're putting two things together.
Yeah. Now I'm a sort of I've been looking at this whole culture thing. The culture involves our flags as well. Remember all the raising of the flags and everyone moaning about it. So I sort of thought about this and suddenly realised that many of people in this country, especially the newcomers, have this sort of Anglo-vexiphobia. Anglo being the English side, vexi being flag. So if you've got vexiphobia, you have a phobia about flags. But it seems that so many people who come into this country for a better life, to run away from people who want to kill them or hurt them, they come here for safety, walk in and instantly, for some reason or other, break out in Anglo-vexiphobia. Isn't it strange how that happens so immediately from the point they say, oh, please take me in, I need to be saved, I need a better life, What they actually want to do is walk into the country and do exactly what they've always done, but with more of this. That's it. That's the end of it. They're not here to make my life better. We have to recognise this.
Okay, so at Harris 4018 as well, which you've got on the screen. My sister was the last in her line. They had no kids to move the name on. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I was adopted and raised by a Welsh family, and my parents couldn't have children. Sounds like I still have a biological father and mother still alive, who I'm not in contact with. Long story there. But yes, my parents who raised me, my adopted parents were my parents, and that's it. They taught me what love is. So not everyone can have children. Some people adopt, but there's still some people don't adopt. They just live their lives because they think that's it, and that's the hand they've been dealt. And that's a fair enough thing, People are people, and we all get through this world as best as we can. Yeah, we've all got our crosses to bear.
Yes, and Lord Viking Live is doing your job for you, Richard.
Absolutely, yes.
Well said.
Thank you, Lord Viking. Yeah, thank you, Lord Viking. That's spot on. I'll say it anyway. Yes, hit the like button, become a channel member. It does, it
helps
you get that rush of endorphins. Yeah. It helps a lot. But what really also helps big time is if you become a subscriber. Check that you've clicked the all option when
channel
you
member.
become a subscriber. Yeah, we become a subscriber. Check you click the all option. To become a channel member, there's a join button on your iPhone or on your iPad. It might actually be on your screen. If you're on the television, I'm not sure how it works with a TV if you're watching this on the TV. But get over to your iPad and your iPhone, whatever, or your Android phone, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good comment here. In the First World War, lots of women never married as there were not enough men. No, that all we sent, as in ever in war, and it's happening right now. We send the best and the youngest and the fittest, generally men, into the meat grinder. When politics fails, the young men die and get maimed. Remember that. And that's why I absolutely hold all governments for the last 30 years to account for not keeping a massive defence capability in this country. Because the one way to stop a war is to be ready to fight one and make sure everybody knows that you're ready and you have the equipment and the dedicated people to actually do it. And that's really important.
Things are getting a bit more serious as well now, though. with war in terms of the meat grinder. More the likes of which we've not seen since the First World War in terms of mechanized industrial warfare. Drone warfare is terrifying. And I'm not just talking about these large ones. I'm talking about the small ones. I've seen too much footage of what's happened between Ukraine and Russia, and that is frightening. I don't see why any man should step in front of the, step and say, "Yeah, I'm fighting." You're not fighting anything. You're fighting technology that is going to almost certainly remove your life. It's over. You lost the war. In some respects, I sometimes wonder if there are some wars that cannot be won, and I don't know. I think we're heading towards something else, though, and it's not your normal kind of war. There'll be wars and rumors of wars, and I think there's something else we're moving towards, and that's a gigantic global merger.
Yes. Anyway, that's what we need to do. Be prepared for war so it never happens, because people know that you're ready and that you can actually stop them. So, and then you mind your own ruddy business. That's the other thing. I know we have international interests and all that sort of thing, but there comes a point when you got to say, how many can we get? How many people can we really protect? It's just a thought. Be easy to say.
Well, what we need to, more than we do in actual troops, believe it or not, the one thing we should be really looking at is something that the UK is putting some money in towards, and that's the Dragonfire system, which is a laser system that can shoot down drones moving at, was it 200 miles per hour? Was it 400 miles per hour? I can't remember which.
No, it's huge. It's phenomenal amounts of speed.
Yeah, phenomenal system.
Yeah.
Phenomenal system. And we need to be investing more in that.
10p a shot it cost.
Yeah. Is it £10?
And it could hit
a
pound. It could hit a pound coin at something like 4 miles or something ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
Nothing
what we do. If we are going to be starting to, if we do want to make Britain a lot safer, it's time to massively start heavying up on things like this new laser system that will destroy these drones. We need to have one every 5-10 miles in this country so that nothing can get in. But there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, all I'm going to say is we've had a couple of interesting stories today. The first one of the explosives, the non-terrorist explosives that were found by police and 2 people arrested, and the arrest of 4 completely different event. Completely different in a different place. 4 people on the far right have been arrested for allegedly breaching terrorism laws. But all of this is allegedly, of course. You've got to remember
allegedly
that.
Far right. They're allegedly far right.
Allegedly
as well,
everything.
And
allegedly men, allegedly a woman there.
Allegedly Polish as well today in Derby with the explosives.
Yes.
Oh yes, allegedly. And forever allegedly. Yes. There we go. And everything we've said tonight, ladies and gentlemen, has been a metaphor, just in case. Everything's a metaphor. Every word we say is a metaphor. Yeah, there we go. Right, so thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, midday with either a video or a live stream, and after that we'll see you at 5:45 tomorrow as well. So we'll be midday, around 12:15. We should be doing something. If we're going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, it'll be around 12:15 if we do a live stream, or it'll be about 1 o'clock if we're doing a video, and then 5:45 in the evening. And so just over to you, Jeff.
Yes, and it's been really great to see everybody tonight, and we're winding up for Christmas, aren't we? We're winding up everything, but we also need to relax over the Christmas period. No one's going to have a perfect Christmas. What you can have is a relaxing Christmas. Don't try to be perfect. It will never work, and you'll get all stressed out. I've been there in the past. Relax on the way in. Have a great time with family and friends, and remake old friendships as well.
No,
it's really important that we're really nice to everybody over this coming period. Leave all the
have to be.
nastiness for us to talk about. You have a great time.
can't do
And on
this.
that note, I'm going to say it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from that legend, but there, from Mr. Jeff Taylor. Goodbye.